What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another The Sports Scoop video. Today, Surge and I, my fellow host here, are going to be talking about a game preview. We don't bring you a lot of these, but we like to go a little bit in depth on some key matchups that either all four of us disagree on or that we just think are really particularly good games to look out for. And this week, it's the Kansas City Chiefs going to Las Vegas and taking on the Raiders. I'm here, as I said, with Suraj Kadali. Suraj, how's it going today?
Going pretty well. How about you?
Doing pretty good. And
Mhm.
if you don't mind, let's hop straight into the video, if I can get this up. Here we go. So we got Chiefs Raiders,
So,
Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. It's a good game, okay? This division is close. We've got the 5-3 Raiders, the 5-3 Chargers, the 5-4 Broncos, and the 5-4 Chiefs, I believe.
yes, that's correct. It's all
And
game, half a game back.
I mean, so this is as big of a game as it gets at this point in the season.
Mm.
I mean, whoever wins this game goes ahead in the division, and
The
I
loser
mean,
could drop to
the
last
loser could
on
drop to
our
last.
end.
If the Chiefs lose this game, they could very plausibly drop to last place in the division. So
Mm.
it makes it even bigger for this Chiefs team. But let's move on into our first key matchup. We're going to just jump into the Chiefs, and this was our predictions from our weekly video. If you didn't watch, Keen and I, who is not here, have the Chiefs, and Dylan and Serge, you guys have the Raiders. So
Mm.
let's get straight into it. Chiefs offense, Raiders defense. What do you have to say about that?
I think this is the main reason actually why I have the Raiders winning this game. Not because the Raiders offense will obviously tear apart the Chiefs defense, but it's more because the Chiefs offense just hasn't had a consistent flow. I think, as you can see, Kansas City, they've been particularly average in terms of scoring, but they give the ball away way too much, whether or not that's Patrick Mahomes turning the ball over, fumbles, interceptions, the whole lot. It's just Kansas City have been so dysfunctional offenses. And there have been a lot of drops by Hill, Kelsey, also some of the lesser name guys like Cole Hardman. Like he hasn't had a consistent target yet this year that, has sure hands, which is probably the downside of having an offense based on speed rather than like a good route runner with like good security and good hands. Kansas City really haven't had that this year. And obviously Mahomes hasn't been obviously as good on offense. The offensive line has been so, but I think Kansas City, they just haven't been at the level yet where they were the previous two seasons. And they're going against a Raiders defense that has significantly improved. They're 10th in total defense so far, thanks to that guy, Max Crosby. He has been a huge part of their defense this season.
For sure.
He's been great in terms of pass rush. They've also taken the ball away a decent amount of times. That'll definitely improve based on, again, how poor Kansas City have been at securing the ball. I think this is the reason. I think this is the reason why the Raiders will win this game, because I think they're they're similar skill level to a Green Bay defense that completely shut down Mahomes at home. Now you go to Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, which has a decent home field advantage. It's going to be another tough outing for Kansas City, and it's not like you're going against Jordan Love again. You're going against Derek Carr, who this season has played like a top 10 quarterback, and I think he is at the moment. So in this position, I know Kansas City, they're Kansas City, but they haven't played good enough this season. I don't see like it just all turning around and all clicking in one game, because it hasn't clicked at all this season. And yeah, I think the Raiders defense will be able to have a solid performance. And I think that will be kind of the building block for why the Raiders should be able to win this game.
Now, here's where I both agree and disagree with you. I think I definitely agree. It's the Chiefs' offense that's making this a close game, not the Raiders' defense. Uh, we just haven't seen much from the Chiefs' offense, and as you can see on your screen, the Raiders aren't anything special defensively. 10th and 15th in those stats, and that's good, but it's just top half. It's not yet getting into that elite defensive tier. Uh, but it's the Chiefs tied in last for giveaways per game. I mean, that's just not what we've seen from the Chiefs in recent years, and it has to change if they want to make a playoff push, and especially a deep playoff push, which it doesn't seem very likely right now. But I disagree with you in the sense that I do think that for the Chiefs, not necessarily will it click for them one game for the rest of the season, but sometimes they have games here and there where it does click and they put up 40. Now, I'm not saying they'll put up 40 against this Raiders team, but Tyreek Hill has a big game, goes for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. We've seen him do it before this season in a 5-4 Chiefs season. And all of a sudden, how can you bet on the Raiders if Tyreek's doing that? But then again, Tyreek could be limited to 3 catches for 20 yards. You just never know which Tyreek you're going to see, and you don't know which Mahomes you're going to see, and you don't know which Chiefs offense you're going to see. That's the most important part. This Raiders defense should have multiple takeaways. Would I start him in fantasy? That's a good question because this Chiefs offense is capable of putting up points, but also capable of giving you takeovers. But I think I might actually give the Raiders a start in fantasy. So moving on to the other side of the ball, when the Raiders are in possession, we've got the Raiders offense and the Chiefs defense. Serge, what do you see here?
I think the Chiefs defense has improved a little bit. They did a good job against Jordan Love and that Packers offense, but then again, it was significantly handicapped given that, again, the Rodgers situation. A lot of these guys were just coming back from COVID. A lot of their skill position players like Lazard, Adams, and MVS. Those guys were all coming back from missing the previous week.
Right.
Have a young quarterback in and going in a hostile environment like Arrowhead is very difficult. That being said, I don't want to take any too much away from the Chiefs defense. They had a good performance, probably their best of the season, but it's going to get a lot harder. This time they're going to be away again at Las Vegas. They are going against an offense that's been very good this year. You look at this, sixth in total offense. Derek Carr has been putting up amazing numbers. He's second in yards per game. I think the Chiefs, they've obviously you can see they've improved a little bit because like before they were like in the 30s for like some of these defensive stats, but they still haven't been good enough. I think they've had a lot of underperforming players like the guy on the bottom, like Tyrann Mathieu, Chris Jones, who's been in and out of the lineup because of injury. I think it'll be a tough game. I think the Raiders are obviously going to be missing, obviously, Henry Ruggs with the unfortunate situation all around. They do get Deshaun Jackson. They signed him, which I think is a very interesting move. See how big of a role he plays in this offense as maybe the replacement deep threat. They've, in terms of wide receivers, they haven't got many like elite options, elite weapons to go to. But Derek Carr is just really good at getting the ball to a bunch of different players. He's obviously got Darren Waller as tight end, who's probably his favorite target. I think he should be able to do a lot against the Chiefs safeties like Dan Sorensen, who's just been playing awful recently. But for me, I think the X factor actually is Josh Jacobs because I'm assuming he is healthy. He is playing
Yeah,
on
should be.
Sunday night. And you're going against a very, very poor Chiefs run defense. Hasn't really had that breakout game yet this season. But obviously the Chiefs, they're even if they aren't great against the pass, they've got the players to guard to disrupt a passing attack, like a Chris Jones, like a Tyrann Mathieu. But if they can run the ball efficiently with Josh Jacobs, with Kenyon Drake, I think it's game over. And I think they will be able to do that relatively well, given that, again, the Chiefs defense just isn't good enough for me. They just aren't good enough. They had a solid performance against the Packers, but they're going against a much tougher unit in Las Vegas. And I think I think it'll be relatively close. I think the Chiefs defense has improved, but I think the Raiders are going to do what they can do what they're going to do this game. I think they're going to control time possession with Josh Jacobs. Derek Carr, he's not going to have one of those like high, like 300-yard passing games. He's kind of going to pick his moments. He'll be taking more of a game manager role, keep the ball away from Mahomes. The defense will make stops against the Chiefs offense that has been, again, not up to standard. I think that's going to be their game plan. I think it'll work, and I think that's why the Raiders will win this game.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with all the points you said, minus the fact that the Raiders will win this game. I think their offense is good, but I think they don't have the same firepower that the Chiefs do have on any given day. But if we're going to talk about the Raiders offense, Josh Jacobs obviously one of the better running backs in the NFL. He's been struggling with injuries this season, but he's coming back this week, should be coming back this week. We'll see before Sunday night when they make their final decision. I don't believe it's been made yet. But guys on the Chiefs defense, Tyrann Mathieu, I don't know what happened. Like, was being trash talked by a 43-year-old like that detrimental to his career? I don't I don't really know what happened there. Chris Jones too. I know it's been struggling with injuries, but aside from that, this Chiefs defense just hasn't had many key players. Frank Clark completely disappeared after that massive contract. And I don't really know what's going on with the Chiefs defense. Those numbers have improved. You did mention that, but not enough to keep up with a defense with an offense like this. Uh, the Raiders' weapons, just to name a few: Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow, and someone we saw a few weeks ago. I'm forgetting which game it was. When did they go to overtime? The Raiders.
I believe that was against
Was it the Ravens?
the Ravens was the first game of the season.
Was that
I think it was after the Chargers game. Ah,
forgetting which game it was? But we've seen come up clutch a few times with some big catches. Brian Edwards.
Brian
Um,
Edwards.
I mean, he's been. It's interesting because he's been so inconsistent, but at the same time, late game situations, Derek Carr tends to throw to him a lot. I couldn't tell you why. He's a good route runner. He has good hands. He makes catches when he needs to for big yardage. But of course, as you mentioned, favorite target Darren Waller, and Darren Waller is just a complete mismatch, especially with Tyrann Mathieu off his game. Tyrann Mathieu is one of the only players in the league that could guard Darren Waller, and not in the form he's in currently. So I think Darren Waller could have a field day against this weak Chiefs defense. But that's all I've got for this matchup. Is that you want to say anything more? Can we get on to our score predictions?
Let's get into our score predictions.
Let's see it. So we're
So
split, of course.
this is the exact predictions. Do you want to go first, Charlie, or should I?
Yeah, I can go. As we can see up
Mm.
there, some not smart analysts picking the Raiders. That's Serge and Dylan, of course. But Keenan and I both have the Raiders, or sorry, the Chiefs. Jeez, I can't talk. But I think it will be a close one, and I think it'll be on the higher scoring end because these offenses are better than the defenses, especially when you look at the Raiders offense, the Chiefs defense. The Raiders will put up points, but I think the Chiefs. I mean, I've said it before, and he hasn't shown it, but Mahomes is clutch, and he's got Tyreek and he's got Kelsey, and I think they'll just do enough to hold off the Raiders. It won't be a convincing win. It'll be holding them off, maybe a late game winning drive, maybe they stop the Raiders. I doubt they're stopping the Raiders once this game, but that's what I've got. 31-24. Keen doesn't have as close of a matchup, but I can imagine he doesn't think it'll be a blowout, even with that 13-point win. Sarah, do you want to head over to your side?
Yeah, I've got the Raiders winning a relatively close game, and I think it kind of corresponds with what I'm saying. I think the Raiders, they're not going to have too many possessions because they're going to try and limit that with, again, running the football with
Yep.
Jacobs and Drake. Derek Carr will pick his moments. He'll have a few big plays to, I feel like he'll have a few big plays to maybe a Brian Edwards. He'll target Darren Waller a lot in this type of games where the Chiefs have just not been good enough against tight ends this season. And I think the Chiefs, they're going to have their moments on offense, but I think the Raiders are definitely primed to get a turnover too. They're definitely going to get pressure on Mahomes, which is obviously kind of the when he's most off of his game, especially this season when they've been able to get pressure off due to the tackles and consistent play. I think Max Crosby could have a big game today, and not today, tomorrow. But I think that's the main reason why I think the Chiefs, they are the Chiefs, and I think they haven't been necessarily putrid offensively in terms of scoring points, which is why I think they will get 20. And but that being said, again, I think the Raiders have just been a better football team this season. And I think we're at the point where we can almost disregard what the Chiefs have done in previous seasons because of really how poor they've played and how different they've looked this season based on like the lack of separation the receivers have been getting. Mahomes' kind of lack of confidence in decision making. The defense has just played worse, so much worse this season than in previous seasons where they were just average. So I think for that reason, I think it could be even more of a blowout for I almost said Oakland, Las Vegas, because of basically they are, in my opinion, in every facet, they're a better football team at the moment. But the reason why is, again, like you said, they Chiefs do have big firepower and they will have their moments, but they'll also turn the ball over, I think, at least once in this game. And the Raiders, I think, again, like I said, they'll minimize possessions, which will make it look closer. I could see this being like a 10-point game, the Chiefs scoring a late touchdown, maybe make it look close. But I think I'm actually relatively confident in my Raiders prediction. As you can see, Dylan has an even larger scorer margin. He has 27-17. And I think
That's kind of
it's,
what you were talking about, the
yeah,
the
it's
10-point
exactly. It kind of
difference with
looks
a
like
late
that. Like
touchdown.
the double score, like two score game to end it. Chiefs, he has the Chiefs scoring less than 20, which is interesting considering, I mean, they scored less than 20 last game, but I think he's kind of completely not sold on the Chiefs this season at this point, and I think that's fair based on
Yeah.
how they've played. And yeah, it should be an interesting game though on Sunday night. I think it'll tell us a lot about maybe the second half of the AFC West. But I think the winner of this game is going to be contending there right up with the Chargers for the division. And the loser, they're probably like on the fringe of the playoff picture at the moment. So it's going to be a huge deciding game in the AFC West, considering again first place and last place is only half a game back. But yeah, Charlie, what do you have to say about this? Anything else?
Yeah, no, I think for this game, I think that right as of right now, the Chargers are the best team in the AFC West.
Yes.
I think the Chargers are on their way to a division title. Um, and I think the winner of this game, especially if it's the Raiders, could see themselves in a playoff spot in
Hmm.
what's it at this point, like 6, 7 weeks. And especially if the Raiders win this game, they go 6-3, and that's a really good step towards playoffs. Beating the Chiefs, who are who were widely regarded as a top two team in football heading into the season. It's just momentum, and right now the Raiders have a lot more of it than the Chiefs, and I think I could definitely see the Raiders winning this game. But what I forgot to touch upon when we talked about the Chiefs' offense is I actually think the key for the Chiefs in this one will be their running game. And I think we saw, I mean, Clyde Edwards-Helaire will not be healthy. He will not be playing. But we did see against the Giants, I'm going to keep bringing it up, Derek Gore was the main running back against the Giants, and they controlled the ball. And that's something the Chiefs haven't done all year because of the amount of turnovers they've had. And if the Raiders are just going to be running the clock down and the Chiefs get the ball and one every two possessions they score and the other one they throw a pick, that's not good enough because the Raiders are capitalized on those turnovers. And the Raiders will win the game if that's how it goes. So I think the Chiefs running game will be a big part of it. Throw the Raiders game plan right back in their face because we know if they need to pull out a big play, the Chiefs are a better team to pull off a big play than the Raiders. But I think this will be a good game, one that I'll definitely be tuning into on Sunday night. So that's all for now, unless you've got something more to say. But
That's it.
that's Charlie Nidell and Serge Kadali with the Sports Scoop on our game preview for Sunday night, Chiefs and Raiders. Hope you guys tune in to a great game, and we'll see you guys next time.